G'day, Chief. Welcome to the Inner Chief podcast and this special episode, which we call The Mini Chief. These are short, sharp highlights from our fabulous CEO guests, where you get a 5 to 10 minute snapshot of the highlights from their episode. Righto, Chief. Without further ado, here is the Mini Chief episode for this week
with Carolyn Creswell, founder and MD of Carman's Kitchen.
We're going to do a bit of a CEO masterclass on firing people and difficult conversations. You know, in your own words, this is sort of one of your superpowers, being able to let people go at the right time. And can you explain a bit of your mindset and process for this?
Yes, absolutely. So I think the first thing is that do not beat yourself up. You can interview someone to death. You can check the references. You can have done everything in your power, and you can hire someone and they aren't the right fit for you. Whether they aren't the right fit in the way that they work, in their cultural fit, if your expectation is that you get it right 50% of the time, I think everyone needs to lower their expectations, because often managers beat themselves up that, how did I not pick that up? And I remember years ago hearing a guy that started a business in America, very famous, called Zappos. It's an online shoe business. And he would offer people money not to take the job. I think you were offered $2,000 once you got to the end of this process. And now everyone wanted to work at Zappos, because he's like, I really want you to know that, you know, we really want to make sure that people are passionate and that we've hired the right people. And he was the one that gave me that figure of saying about 50% of the time you can get it wrong. So the challenge that I would always say is managing to, you know, in Australian law, you have 6 months probation. Manage that very carefully. Make sure that you're having conversations. If someone you think, you know, it will take, you know, certainly a month, 2-3 months to get someone up to speed, but you need to really know by 6 months, would you enthusiastically rehire that person? Because if you let it go after 6 months, you are then in a situation where you are then performance managing, and you're taking up so much energy from managers and, you know, up to your leadership team on something that should have been dealt with at the start. So don't kid yourself if you really don't think someone is the right fit and the right person. So once you've got through that probation, and you might have someone that was amazing for a long period of time, that they might have worked with you for 5-7 years and they've been great. However, the size of the business has meant that, you know, that you actually now need someone who has a skill set. And generally speaking, in many roles, I can teach skill. In most roles, you can skill someone up. I can't change who they are innately, so I can't change how good they perhaps are able to process numbers, or perhaps how creative they are, but I can certainly send them on courses, and I can certainly give them training, but I can't change their attitude, and I can't change if they have a sense of feeling entitled. And sometimes when people have worked in a place for a long period of time, they do. And I think there's the biggest thing a leader can bring to the business is the responsibility to put the right people on the bus, have the right people sitting in the right seats, and when it's time for someone to hop off the bus, to have the bravery to really say, hey, there's a reason, you know, that you need to hop off the bus. So that has taken me a long time in my career to learn, and I'm a nice person, and it's not and I totally understand that it's not a nice thing to do, but I have, if you can see sitting behind me, I have a beautiful piece of art, which is all books about telling the truth. And every title on that is about the truth about, you know, any topic. And I think you should always come from a place of telling the truth. So I will happily sit with someone and say, you know, I think it makes someone's life so much easier if they actually can understand. It's like if someone in life has stopped being friends with you and you think, you rack your brain for years and years, what did I do? What did I do? And when you eventually find out, It might have been something minuscule. It might have been something where you go, do you know what? I mean, that happened to me once. When I found out, I was like, yeah, fair. I totally understand that, I'd stayed friends with someone that you absolutely despise. So you were like, well, I don't want to be friends with you because of that connection. But when you don't know, it's very hard. And I think it's very hard to grow in your career when people haven't given you the feedback of why something hasn't worked. So I'm a big one for trying to explain that. Obviously, it's much better if you can give people time that this is what I need you to perform. This is what I'm really looking for you doing in the role. So I have a lot of my friends that ring me, business people, and say, "Oh my gosh, I've got to let someone go today. Can you talk me through?" So generally, I will always start. I like people to have a sense, probably of 24 hours, or of that there's going to be a conversation we need to have. So, would you be able to come and see me tomorrow? I think we need to talk about your career or your role here, because it is much better. It's awful if someone is caught completely off guard. Give them a sense to go home and say to their partner, "Oh my gosh, I think maybe tomorrow I might be losing my job," and that they can actually start, because the shock can mean that they can't hear anything when it just comes with straight shock. So giving them some notice so that they can actually be aware that this conversation might be coming their way. And then when they come in, I will often just start by saying, "Look, this is a really, this is not a great conversation today. And, I would love, if I was running this business, to employ every person I enjoy working with and everyone that, I've had a great time. But unfortunately, my role is to make sure that we have the right people in the right roles at the right time for the business. And unfortunately, in this situation, we've decided that we're going to be restructuring the role you are currently in. We're going to be making redundant, or whatever the situation might be. However, please separate that from the fact that I really respect you. I am more than happy to be a reference for you. We are more than happy to give you careers counselling. So we offer outplacement service. Let us be here to help you try and get your next role." So sometimes we have that conversation very early, because often it's easier for people to get another role while they're still in a role. And we try and, and if people are mature, they're able to work through that and then be able to say, "Okay, I've heard you. Can you give me 3 months? I will give you my all." And my only request to them is that that they must finish strong. So if you start having lots of sick days and arriving late and leaving early and taking the piss, then this won't go to the end. But often, there might be a payment made at the end if you finish strong. But for a lot of people, they need to sort of leave on the spot, because it's something where they say, "Do you know what, this is not something I can't turn up every day and just pretend." And it's very much a personal thing. Some people can surprise you that they're able to finish super strong, and they really appreciate the honesty. And I'll often say, "Well, what you can ask me any questions. Ask me if they were underperforming or what kind of issues," because people are expensive. And you really cannot carry, if you're carrying more people than you need to, just because you don't have the bravery to let people go. That's kind of, that's a false economy.
Thank you for sharing that. That's just, I can imagine being in that room going, "This is hard news, but I'm glad I'm getting it." Because sometimes the worst thing you can do for someone is leave them in a role and just let them not be happy, not perform, get more and more stressed in that role. And then that just sort of drifts into the rest of the team, doesn't it? Then everyone's on edge and no one's happy. And actually you're doing everybody a disservice by not having that conversation.
Yeah. Absolutely. And I also think that if you are having a restructure, and let's just say that you might have 3 or 4 people that need to go, my advice is to announce to everyone, "Hey, we are going to be doing a restructure. We're working on it this week. We will be announcing it next week." And you tell everyone on the one day, so everyone can come in. Everyone will be nervous. They know that announcement's been made, and those people have been told, as opposed to it being one a month. People crave security, And so you want to be able to give them as much as you can and, and to treat them like human beings. But, we have people that have left here for career progression, have come back. We spend a lot of time talking to people about what they would like out of their careers. And if we can't give it to them here, we fully support the journey of them saying, do you know what, how much more have we got with you? Maybe another year. Great, let's be honest about it. Because we can then work with them to say, we understand that, you'll be coming up or you're getting bored in this role and we mightn't have anything. And we have one of our star performers that went off and worked somewhere else for 3 years and came back. So I would like to think that there's no one that's ever worked at Carman's that I wouldn't cross the street, go up to and say hi. And there's plenty of people that I've had to, let go of in my career. And I've always tried to hopefully do it with dignity and to do it that we would, often you end up having a cuddle at the end of that and saying, hey, I know this is not ideal, but this doesn't mean that, I'm not here for you and that I'm not here to try and help you, in your journey forward.
Chief, there you have it for this week with our mini Chief episode.
All the links and resources can be found at chiefmaker.com/346.
And if you'd like to stay in touch with Chief Maker, just go to chiefmaker.com/subscribe. Now, Chief, are you working your tail off, doing everything you can to be the best professional, but still finding perhaps you're not getting in front and you just don't know why? You're not sure if it's a relationship with your boss that's costing you, maybe your routines or your processes, maybe you don't have the right network, all the right skills, or maybe you just don't have the right track record in place. Whatever it is, sometimes it's hard to know what exactly might be costing you a promotion and mastery at work. So what I've done is created for you the Chief Maker Career Scorecard. It's a 25-question survey that gives you a free automated report about your precise situation. I'll tell you exactly what you need to do in order to get ahead and design a roadmap for your dream job and life. As I said, it's totally free. I've automated the whole process so anybody can do it in just a couple of minutes. Just go to chiefmaker.com/scorecard. Chief, if you're yet to rate the episode and subscribe, I hope you'll do so soon. It helps others see the magnificent value that the chiefs and gurus on the show bring to their life and career. So make sure you hit subscribe on your podcast app now, give it a 5-star rating if you think it's worthy, and leave a short review about your favourite episode. Righto, Chief, as always, remember to stay epic.